Hello, welcome to the channel. I'm Claire Francis. Thank you for joining me here today. If it's the first time you've been here, this is a channel with lots of ideas for shopping, style and fashion for the midlife woman. Today, I want to ask you a question. Have you had a seasonal colour analysis? I had a seasonal colour analysis 15 years ago maybe, and I was given a season, but we know that things change as we age. And I think my hair's got lighter as I've gone a little bit grey and silvery. I've gone more into the sort of lighter blondes. My skin tone's changed a little bit. I think it's actually a little bit darker in some ways from sunbathing and things in my 20s and 30s. You know, we all shift slightly our colour patterns. Some of you maybe have let your hair go naturally grey or silver. So even if you've had a colour analysis, it might be the time to actually think about having a look at it again with the changing colours and tones of your skin, hair, etc. So if that's something you're interested in, please stay tuned. I think you're going to enjoy it today. Now, I've done a colour analysis, not with a specialist this time. I've used GPT to do my colour analysis, which is totally free. It's an AI version that you do on the internet. You just need a photograph of yourself, and maybe you can give GPT a little bit more information about yourself, and you'll get a full colour analysis. So let's see how I got on when I tried that. So for those of you who've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I've had my colour seasonal analysis done, and I've told you that I was diagnosed as a summer, and I received this little booklet. It's from the House of Colour, and I'll show you a bit nearer. It tells me all the colours as a summer that are suitable for me. So you can see here we've got a few brown shades there, but mostly a lot of blues, lilacs and bluey greens. And then on the other side, I have an awful lot of pinks, a little bit of burgundy there, a sort of darker red, and some purples and some more blues and turquoisey, mauvey colours as well. So that's a whole range of colours that supposedly summers can wear. However, you might also be aware that over time, recently, we don't just talk about 4 colour seasons. That's actually been divided into 12 colour seasons. Actually, in some models, it's a 16 colour seasons. So it's all a little bit more complicated. And some people are a little bit sceptical about colour analysis. I think it's a very useful guide. You don't have to necessarily follow it exactly, but it's nice to know what sort of colours and shades are maybe your best colours, what's going to bring out the best in your skin tone and your hair colours. So, as I said, I used ChatGPT to do this for me. This is the photograph I uploaded, so full disclosure here, no makeup. You can see I'm looking a little bit washed out there because I haven't got much definition. And I also gave a little bit of information about myself, which I'll tell you in a minute. But on the first go of using ChatGPT, just with the photograph, it told me that I was probably a light summer, but then when I gave a little bit more information about my natural colouring, it said I was a soft summer. So I'm a soft summer because my tone is cool to neutral, my low contrast, not too much difference between my skin, my hair, etc., pale eyebrows, that sort of thing, and my depth would have been light, but probably medium naturally with my original hair colour. So basically, overall, I'm cool, soft, medium depth, not very bright, not much contrast. So that's why I was put into the soft summer category. So that was interesting to find out I'm soft summer, which is actually a little bit closer to autumn, I think. So I'm not 100% sure if that is right or not, but anyway, the colours it suggested would be my best colours are things like soft navy, blue, sort of grey, slate colours, dusty rose, soft berry, lavender, grey, sort of plum, sage, teal, charcoal, a whole range of colours it mentioned. And the ones to avoid, which actually I know mostly, are black, things like camel, mustard and rust, and then anything too bright or even like stark white. So that was the sort of general description of what my colours, my best colours would be. I'll go into a bit more detail in a minute. So this is some of the best neutral colours for me. So soft navy, bluey greys, dove grey, charcoal's a good colour on me, mushroomy beiges, browns, and soft white. Neutrals to avoid: black, warm beige, cream or ivory with yellow in it, chocolate brown and crisp optic white. So quite a few neutrals there to avoid. Now this is my best colours overall. So it gave it a breakdown in terms of the blue colours, the pinks and reds, the purples, the greens and the yellows, the shades that would actually suit me best, which is quite useful. I said a lot of those I do have on that colour swatch I've got. And then finally, it can actually show you how you can combine these colours. For example, it said build outfits with one neutral and one soft summer colour. Keep contrast low to medium. If it looks beautiful but loud, it's one step too far. And then it gave some examples of combinations there. It is quite an incredible thing, the AI, because apart from just giving you your colour analysis, which I think in some ways can be reasonably accurate as going to somebody. I do know several people who've said they've been to different colour analysts and they've come out a slightly different colour season. Actually, you see that on the internet. There's a lot of people with videos about that. So I'm not sure how accurate ChatGPT is, but I don't think it's any less accurate than going to a person, to be honest. However, there are some very good colour analysts, and Sarah Ryan is one of those. She's on YouTube. I think she actually does online consultations as well. I think she's from Ireland. So I appreciate that actually having a real person is, a bit more of an event. They can actually take other things into consideration. They can see you in real time, in sort of possibly in real life. So that won't be replaced by ChatGPT. Another thing that ChatGPT can do, as well as telling you about colours and colour combinations, it can tell you things like the best jewellery colours. So really for me it's silver or rose gold. I'm actually doing a bit more mixed metals. As you can see at the moment, I've got the silver earrings, I've got the silver and gold necklace, and then I've got the buttons on the jumper there. And actually this jacket that I got recently, I mentioned it to you last time, it's actually a really good colour. It's a soft mauvey blush, sort of light browny colour. It's very difficult to describe, but I think it's just the right shade. The lining actually looks almost mauve, so I think it's actually a good colour on me. Now let me know, what do you think? Do you think this colour does look good on me? And I'd be really interested to know what season you are if you've had a colour analysis. So please do let me know. That would be interesting to start a conversation about that. So ChatGPT can also give you ideas for your capsule wardrobe. And that's the one thing I didn't think was quite as good on ChatGPT. It came up with some nice ideas, but the photos it showed were not something that I would think was very on trend. Some of the photos look quite dated. The pink top here looks a very old-fashioned style, and this sort of beigey neutrally jumper again looked a little bit old-fashioned. So I wasn't that happy with the actual pieces. I wouldn't want it to do me a shopping list of actual items to buy, which I think it can do, because I felt they weren't really very up to date. So that's something I think that the AI could work on a little bit. I thought they were a little bit old-fashioned, some of the pieces they were showing, and not something I particularly like to buy. But the overall colours they suggested I thought were very good. And it made me think, I haven't got anything lavender in my wardrobe at the moment. That's something I'd quite like, a lavender jumper for spring, something like that, and maybe some nice bluey grey or grey, charcoal grey trousers, something like that. That's the sort of thing I'll be looking for spring. I do have quite a lot of the other colours that are suitable for me. Maybe one or two things I need to sort of think about getting rid of. So just having a quick look at my wardrobe here. This is the section I cleaned and decluttered, if you remember, a few weeks ago. Let's have a look at the colours. Now you can see here I've got quite a lot of sort of ivory stroke light creamy neutrally colours here. I think these are okay. I don't think any are too yellowy, and I've got my nice soft pink jumper there, which I think is a really nice colour. So that's fine. I've got some lighter greys and browns here. This one, I know this isn't my ideal colour. It's a little bit warm, it's a little bit sort of rusty warm, but I can get away with it if I have better colours around it. So I'm not going to necessarily get rid of that. I do actually think that's useful. I'm going to keep it a little bit longer. Now this one is a bit of a conundrum. This is like a raspberry sort of colour. I think I can wear this. However, I'm not sure if it's a little bit bright, you know, according to AI, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that colour suits me? Be interested to know your views. So that's staying at the moment. Now I have got quite a few black pieces here, which I know aren't ideal. For example, this nice phase 8 cardigan I got recently. However, when I wear this, it's going to be more of a sort of dressed up occasion, and I will be wearing brighter makeup, probably a red lipstick or something like that. And I think that gives me a bit more contrast and allows me to wear black in that sort of setting. So I'm not getting rid of anything that's black in my wardrobe, but I will be a little bit cautious how I do wear it. Then I've got this chocolate brown cardigan. Now this really possibly is a little bit too harsh for me, but again, I think I can get away with it by pairing it with something softer, like the soft pink. I think that will make it more wearable, so I could wear this as the bottoms more and then have the pink on the top, or even put, you know, this sort of pink jumper over it. So I think that's the most suitable way of wearing that. I just need to be a little bit cautious with that. And then again, these colours I think are all okay. I've got some nice soft pinks there, some beiges. Again, a black cardigan, I'd be better probably, that's an old cardigan, I may well decide to give that away. This beige, which is my waistcoat, sorry, I've got a red top underneath. Now again, not sure quite, I think there is a red for most people. You know, I think probably more of a bluey red, a true red suits me better than a fire engine type red. And this beige is a little bit on the yellow side, but it's not too harsh, so I do wear that. But, you know, be interested to see what your thoughts and views are about colours. Here's another one of my red Christmas jumpers. What do you think of that colour against my skin? Potentially a little bit too bright, but I think I can get away with it as long as I got a nice bright red lipstick, you know, that sort of thing. So you've got to work with what you've got, but you know, you do need to think sometimes about how you wear that. So I'm not rushing to give everything away just because it's not quite the right colour, but I will be a bit more mindful about how I use those colours. Anyway, overall, I would say my experience with GPT was well worth the effort. Just for uploading a single photo and I say a tiny bit of extra detail, I got a lot of analysis that I would have had to pay a lot of money to have. And as I say, I think it's reasonably accurate. I'm still not 100% sure what season I am within the summer season. You know, so the breakdown within summer, because I think I can wear some slightly brighter colours. And it's very confusing, isn't it? You know, people sometimes say to me, I'm wearing a bright red, and people say, oh, that colour really suits you. And I've been wearing quite a lot of brown. And again, people have said to me, oh, that looks nice on you. But actually, the dark chocolate brown was the colour that it said better to avoid. So again, I asked ChatGPT if he could, or he, you know, what is it? We don't know. If it could suggest how I could wear my chocolate brown pieces but make them more suitable. And it said maybe add, you know, a dusky pink top or a lilac top or something like that with some of the brown outerwear or the brown trousers. And I can see how that would work. I've actually been looking at wearing a sort of dusty, paler pink with the brown items, and that can make it more suitable for you. So it doesn't mean you can never wear any of the colours that have been suggested. It just means you need to be a bit more thoughtful about how you wear them. Say some people who are summers can be nearer to the autumn end. You might be nearer to the spring end, or you might even be a true summer. Sometimes is actually more similar to winter and you can wear stronger colours then. So, you know, yes, all a little bit confusing. I'd highly recommend though, try and do your AI analysis. And then if you find that useful, great. If not, you might decide to go and try somebody who does colour analysis. Probably cost you a couple of £100, but might be well worth it. However, a lot of people by our age have worked out what colours do suit them, but don't forget colours do change over time. Our colouring changes, and maybe you do need a little bit of a refresh. So just something I thought you might be interested in, and very, very worth it for no money. Go and have your analysis done on AI. Very useful. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope you found it useful, and maybe it sort of just provoked a few thoughts. Go and have a look in your wardrobe, see what you've got, you know, maybe identify some things that do suit you, that maybe the items that you know haven't really suited you, now maybe you know why. And please give me your comments. Let me know your season. Let me know if you've had it done professionally. Let me know whether you believe in the seasonal analysis or whether you don't take any notice of it at all. Any discussion would be useful on the subject. I think we're all trying to work our way through the sort of minefield of colours. And I know they keep saying colour is coming back, but we're still basing our outfits on neutrals. So again, picking the right neutrals for your season is really, really good. Remember, if you're a summer, you need to be looking at neutrals that are not yellowy. So you can wear an ivory, you can wear things like a taupe or a light beige if it's a cool beige, but not bright white potentially, unless you've got a very good suntan. And not anything too yellow or orangey. Whereas if you're a warmer skin tone, like maybe an autumn or a spring, you can probably wear the more yellowy creams, you can probably wear the sort of warmer browns, and you know, the different neutrals will suit you. So that's something to be aware of. We're still basing our outfits on neutrals and then adding a few accent colours. I think that's the most modern way to do it at the moment. I'm sure in the summer we'll see a lot more colours, a lot more florals and things. But at the moment, let's keep it still fairly neutral with maybe some accents of the colours that do suit us, because after all, we just want to look our best. So once again, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Goodbye.